I think the payment space is really interesting. I mean, every time we speak with MLROs now, they're facing really similar problems around, because they're going through, generally speaking, so much growth and scaling their businesses, that really the challenge is quite similar, that it comes down to how do we scale our systems, our controls with that growth, more going into new jurisdictions, we're getting more customers, we're maybe launching new products, and of course there's been acquisitions as well.
Yeah, absolutely. In the last couple of years we've seen Rails own 𝐏𝐚𝐲𝐽, we've seen Molly and Go cardless. Just last week, or maybe the week before, it was announced that Nuvei has acquired 𝐼𝐸. Huge amounts of growth in the sector. And I think with that growth, whether it's through mergers and acquisitions or whether it's through organic growth, as you just mentioned, yes, it brings huge opportunities for those payments firms involved, but it also brings a lot of opportunity for cracks to appear and risk management frameworks to sort of fall apart in the seams if they're not managed properly. I think from the conversations I'm having, there's probably 6 buckets that a lot of the challenges may fall into, and that's what I think we should be exploring in this video and in this series that we're going to be doing. So if you're in a payments firm and these 6 areas resonate with you, it would be great to hear your thoughts. So I think the first topic that's really critical to touch on is the use of AI in financial crime. Moving obviously through using AI for process efficiencies and optimizing processes, but more so moving towards AI to support an informed risk-based decision making. This obviously needs really robust governance, guardrails in place, and a commitment to ongoing assurance. It's certainly not an easy ask, but something that payments firms are increasingly expected to be on board with.
I think we've really seen in our conversations over the last few months, particularly that drive to move from pilot use of AI into production. How do we get that benefit from it, and all the challenges that are associated with that as well?
Absolutely, and for me that all really feeds into the wider financial crime operating model. Whether it's through the mergers and acquisitions that we've spoken about already, as well as that organic growth. There's an expectation that the op model needs to keep pace. Firms are expected to streamline, to optimize, to have a future-proof and sustainable operating model from a financial crime perspective that reduce costs, reduce operating burdens, but also still effectively manages risk.
I think, again, in terms of all the conversations we're having, the conversation is not about how do we necessarily, drive efficiencies as these are growing, scaling payments firms. It's more about how do we scale, without having just to add headcount to that financial crime team. So again, doing more with less or more with the same, effectively.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, that really plays into sort of systems and technology. I see a lot of payments firms who were using systems that have been selected 2 or 3 years ago that were perfectly fit for purpose at the time, but now they just don't offer the sophistication and complexity to keep pace with where the organisation is both now and where they're planning on getting to. I think the other challenge with financial crime tech and controls is the piece around system and tool availability. Back 2 or 3 years ago, the vendor landscape looked very different to how it does now, and so the credibility has really increased.
And I think the way the tech stack has developed in these firms, there has been a sort of a slightly bolt-on type of approach taken. It's not you don't always get the moment to sort of step back and really review and frankly consolidate. But I think as you start to scale, the demand does come to really review that technology stack and go, is this the technology that's going to help us go, scale over the next 3 to 5 or 5+ years? So the technology stack is a really big topic now.
Yeah, absolutely. And Matt, you just spoke about reconsidering the approach to particular initiatives, and I think another area where that really resonates with me is in the realm of assurance. I think there was a real surge in fintech authorizations probably 3 to 5 years ago, and so that assurance was very much a means to an end. Whereas now the expectations of the SCA are higher. We've had the National Risk Assessment come in, which says that payments firms are high risk from money laundering and terrorist financing perspective. The FCA continues to crack the whip with things like VREX, skilled person reviews. So the expectations of that assurance activity is probably much more robust now.
And I think there's just a maturing needed within those scaling of firms, particularly around what the purpose of that assurance is. You know, as you said, maybe to go through authorizations, there is a clear purpose for those audits and assurance pieces. But now it should be, you know, the whole approach to those assurance pieces does need to mature as well. It becomes a really critical part of your control framework, I think, more generally.
Absolutely. And finally, let's touch upon resourcing. You already mentioned it a little bit earlier. I think from the conversations I have with payments firms, there is an expectation to do more with less. People are often double hatting, maybe triple hatting, and this really leads to them almost playing whack-a-mole, trying to do BAU solutions, trying to implement strategic initiatives that are coming down from board and top level, and also thinking about new horizon developments, things like AMLA that's coming into force next year. That can mean that firefighting is going on. And yes, absolutely, the BAU tasks are being done, but it means that things like major transformation and strategic initiatives can get a bit stunted.
100%. I think how do people manage their teams, and how do they grow their teams kind of appropriately as their business is scaling? So how do they think about the different teams on the first line, the second line, change capabilities as well? Absolutely critical.
Yeah.
Look, I think the good news here is that all of this is solvable, and I think there's well-trodden paths around, you know, we talked about, you know, how do you use assurance and how do you do that really well? How do you know, what's the future of your technology need to look like, and which vendors should you be using? What should the operating model look like? You know, there's plenty of people, firms and experience out there who can help you with that, and obviously I know this is an area that we specialise in.
Yeah, and we're really fortunate, right? We benefit from not only skilled practitioners within the financial services space, but individuals who've got that real hands-on lived experience of working with scale-up firms in the payments sector, and truly understand the sort of nuanced challenges that they face, right the way through, right, from dealing with VRECs, skilled person reviews, reactive independent assurance pieces, all the way through to more proactive things like policy and procedure enhancement, op model support, training delivery, etc. So if you're sitting there in a scale-up payments firm and you feel that what Matt and I have spoken about today really resonates with you, do follow us and the rest of the videos in this series, and we look forward to connecting with you.